Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. Happy to be here in the summit, and a special thanks to Mali for inviting and organizing this. As you rightly pointed out, I'm here to talk about the resemblance on the startup versus any initiative that we take in a big organization. So, before I start off, a quick introduction about myself. I'm a born Boschler with 21 years of experience. I am passionate about learning new things and experimenting my ideas. I'm back to my student life now after 20 years because I'm pursuing my master's in the topic computer vision. I happen to participate in many initiatives in Bosch and proud to be associated mainly because it empowers us to take up a lot of initiatives. Just to add on to my kitty is I am the first Indian woman to be in the part of Women at Bosch Global Board, which is an initiative to empower women at Bosch worldwide itself. So with this, thank you so much. And I start off with what is there as a resemblance. So as a startup, the first thing that we look out is for an idea, and I definitely resonate with what Luke Platt talked about is that he says that if HP knew what HP knows, they would be three times more productive. I echo his thoughts, and that's where the ideation started off because at Bosch, we are zero point 0.4 million associates spread across 60 countries. And that's where we believe that we can know much more within Bosch itself rather than for scouting for help outside. And that's what I echo with Lou Platt. Now, how did what triggered me to come up with a solution, or what was that I was looking for? Was this beautiful Chinese proverb which talks that a single conversation across a wise person on a table is worth reading a study of a month itself. So I firmly believed in this proverb because I felt I'm not a good book reader. I would like to acknowledge here, but I love listening to people's stories which are experience. And I firmly again believe that experiences need not have to be there on your own, but you can learn from others' experience as well. So that's where the solution started off. So if I look at the resemblance with startup, you start off with your ideation and you start with the solution development. So what was the solution that I was looking was a collaborative learning, because to study by myself all alone I find it a little jerky, but if I do along with the colleagues then it is smooth sailing for me. So that's where I chose this topic called collaborative learning across the globe series, mainly because of the 60 countries that we are around, and we were looking for learning from everybody's experience. Now, the third step in the startup is to do the market research. And for me, the audience need was the market that I was looking forward for. And as rightly stated by Stevenson, that if you understand the human needs, then it is half the job done for meeting those requirements or the needs itself. So I started off scouting for what is that as an audience across these countries would be looking forward for, because we all come with different culture, but of course learning is one primary motto for all of us to do so. So I picked up the topics. So if you look at it in terms of market research, I did the survey with reaching out to few of the colleagues across the world, across the countries, and picked up the topics. The topics were usually of an interest of business as well as technology, and this is where I headed up building up my business plan. So the business plan here was to come up with a monthly connect and also to look at a right timing, because we are spread across. I had to ensure that the timing matches for the east versus the west of the world itself. However, there was a challenge to have people from Japan and US being together, but that was an accepted risk or a challenge that I was willing to take up. So the plan that I had was to have a monthly connect on a convenient time, but also to make use of this platform for a fresh moderator. So I chose this mainly because we would like to see how people can be collaborating and co-learning along with us. So it was a co-creation. I wouldn't own it up all by myself, but it was these passionate moderators who were willing to look up for hosting the speaker as well as networking. So I saw an advantage of having the moderators because in the long term, when they talk to these hosts, then the host can become the mentor for their ideas. So that was the idea behind having a fresh moderator. Had it been me alone doing this, I think I would have only gained for myself. But now, in my absence for hosting, I have many of my colleagues who are part of it. So that's how the business plan for this startup of collaborative learning started off. Now, it wasn't an easy task. There were definitely the challenges because we were to look for the right topic and the right speaker. Honestly, there were few declines when I had approached for the speakers, and these were all cold calls because I don't know many of them whom I've hosted as a speaker. If I had known, then it's an easy conversation because you start off with an informal connect and take forward. But here the challenge was to reach the right speaker on the topic itself. So few cold calls failed, and there were certain hesitance as well, saying that okay, how will people look at it? Because I come from this culture and it is very specific to our needs. So we did cater to the other world as well. But however, thankful to the speakers within Bosch that they were also helping us to learn. And we also chose to invite few external speakers as well to get the perspective outside of Bosch as well. So it was a blend which we started off as a topic to take forward. Now, with this, I just want to take you that, as I stated, it was a resemblance, saying that how did I start off my initiative in the organization for my personal learning along with the benefit for the others. So I was passionate to learn, and that passion to learn is an addiction which made others to join. And I had the zeal to make it happen. As I stated, even when things were not getting into, for example, you would have had an emergency where a speaker is unwilling to come up mainly because of the personal needs that he or she had to take care. So in this time, you have to rightly pick up and ensure that the event does not move off the track of a monthly connect that is there. So I see people moving in enthusiastically to join this event as well. We started off with this vision of learning, and that purpose was shown to them, the audience, and that's how we have a regular numbers of associates who are joining in. And we tested the concept in a small scale. So I did not start off with an external speaker immediately, but a known colleague of mine and a very topic which was very near to my own learning, which was computer vision, what it is all about. So I approached the speaker saying that if you were to talk on this topic to your mother or a grandmother, how would you talk about this? And my intention was very clear because we come from different domain, be it HR, be it purchasing. So artificial intelligence, machine learning are two high words for us who are on a day-to-day operation. So that's where I approached the speaker, and a very clear input to the speaker as well, saying that we want to learn from your experiences. We have Google, we have enough literature where we can explore on our own. But what is that we want from you is a 45 minutes full-fledged experience sharing of yours. You could talk about your challenges, you could pose your situation to us and see how do we react. So that empowerment of freedom to the speaker was allowed, but I was very clear on what do I expect from them. And that is what brings the audience to these sessions as well. And I scaled it up by getting into the people around. And I feel I was brave or courageous enough to reach out for the right fit, even if they were strangers. I mean, zero point 0.6, zero point 0.4 million of associates around Bosch. I don't know all of them, but then I have a clear motto saying that this is what we want to achieve. And to be honest, now we see that 5 minutes before the event, we all join up for a small informal chat and then we connect on to the topic itself. So, my take is that running an organizational initiative of such a wide culture is nothing less than starting a startup itself. There are challenges, there are hiccups, but we have overcome that. So with this, I would like to thank all of you for your patient listening and hearing my story. So over to the host if there are any questions. So I'm open to any of the questions that any of the audience have it.
Okay. Sorry, I was away for a short moment. Are there any questions I'm asking to the audience based upon the talk? Because I can ask you a couple of questions, but it would be more interesting to have them coming from the audience. No questions based upon your talk? So you said that you have been working at Bosch since you were 21 years old, right?
My total experience at Bosch is 21 years. I started around 20. I wouldn't disclose my age, sorry.
Yes, I do understand. Yes, oh my God, no, please don't do that. I mean, so impolite of me. But you have worked for a long time at Bosch, although you look like this young woman who has just started.
Thank you for the compliment.
So, I mean, you've talked about like transitions, the speed of transitions. Does it now go faster than 20 years ago at Bosch? And what make those changes go faster than before?
It's definitely the technology that is driving us and the innovation that we do every minute. If you ask me, that's the innovation that is going on, and our motto is very clear that we are looking for something to do good for the human life and to protect the environment. So that being a basic Bosch value, we start innovating for any topic that is there on the earth.
Yeah. And when you talk about like how does this benefit also the direct surroundings of where Bosch is located and the company, how connected is Bosch now to also the local community, and what kind of initiatives can also make this speed of transition more sustainable for in the future, so next generations to come?
Yeah, a good question to talk on. What I see is there are central guidelines, but we are locally empowered to make our own policies in order to abide by. So there isn't a statement directive saying you have to execute as I'm stating it sitting in Germany. That's not the case. We have a framework, and each of us as local regions, we have empowered to take up our own policies. So with this, we see that we are able to make changes much faster.
Yeah. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here talking to us. I'm sure that also the online viewers have enjoyed your talk much. Is there anything you would like to add or some closing remarks?
This is an initiative that helped me, and now believe me, we are starting off on the Women's Network as well as another initiative where I'm trying to implement these learnings, wherein sometimes there are denials, sometimes there are not many audience that are there. So you start letting go of connecting with all these failures, and you stay, okay, this is another learning. So I read a very good statement that the challenges are here to give us wisdom, which we can take it forward for next journey that we are taking up. So with that, as a startup, always there are declines and the uphills that we have to take up. But if the wisdom is taken from these challenges, it's easy for us to go forward. So with this, thank you once again, and looking forward for the coming year for more contribution. Thanks you all for your time and effort, and wishing you a great evening there in Berlin.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And I don't know if you're using our networking app, Brella, but can maybe people also connect to you over LinkedIn? Would you mind, or is this possible?
Yeah, we are already having lots of networking from tomorrow onwards. So many of us are connected with Brella, and thanks for such a good network opportunity. We connect around the world.
Okay. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next year's here in Berlin, or maybe we see each other over in India or somewhere else around the
Welcome
world.
to,
Yes, I would love to.
welcome to India.
I would love to. We all would love to. Thank you so much. So give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful lady.